Final, and I fear this one was over long before zeros. The Minnesota Vikings 48, the Cincinnati Bengals 10, in a game that was billed as a battle of backups. It was the defense that stole the show. And from what we take you out to the site where Tony Romo joins us on the tail end of another lopsided one, Tony. That seems to be the way we meet each other this season, but long season to go here. When you look at these two backups, only so much can be made of the performance, I think, on both sides, but your biggest takeaway from this performance by the Vikings is what?
Their defense. I think Carson Wentz set the tone by going down and having just a full drive early in the game. They hadn't done that at all this year, but I felt like the defense imposed their will. After getting run on for 218 yards against Atlanta last week, I think Brian Flores, defense coordinator, just made a concerted effort to be like, this is not going to happen again, him and Kevin O'Connell, and they shut the run down early in the game, and they put the backup quarterback Browning into a position where he had obvious passing downs. And this is the last team you want to go against. It's like Star Wars out there. They come from everywhere, and you just don't know where to start with your eyes. And so it made it very difficult and challenging on Cincinnati.
It was Browning in a blender for much of this one, and I don't know if we can make any large takeaways, but we are talking about a fill-in opportunity for more than just a few games. We're talking about a few months, if not the entirety of the season, with Joe Burrow on the mend. You and I, we don't sit here, we don't do much waiver wire, but what is the course forward after a game like this for Cincinnati?
I think your job as a head coach is just to be like, it's one game. It was a bad matchup for Cincinnati going on the road against this pass unit. Cincinnati has not been able to run the ball at all in the first 2 weeks. I mean, historically low for a team who is 2-0. And now today was the same thing. So they're back at the drawing board. They have a really uphill climb. I think Al Golden coming in has helped. They've won some games on opportunistic defense, getting turnovers, certain things at the right time. But ultimately, you don't have Joe Burrow to come in and save the day. And this team is not as formidable, I feel like, on the offensive side up front. They just don't have the kind of time. They don't have the ability to move the defensive line. This is going to be a challenge for Cincinnati going forward. All
right, broader Tony here, because it was a career launched by opportunity in that backup role moving forward. We got 5 backups going today in the NFL. What is it to carry that opportunity in a week of preparation and not be thrust into your moment in game?
Well, it's big, but I also feel like there's levels to it. What environment are you going in? Who's around you? Your coaching staff, your scheme. There's so much to it. But I do think, like I said, the last place you want to go is into Minnesota. This defense is really, really good. We knew going into the game about the Packers, the Eagles defense. You could say the Browns now, who have had 3 straight weeks of outstanding defense. But this Vikings team is right there, right at that next step. And they're just learning, a bunch of new guys coming in, and they're only going to improve. I think this defense is going to be one of the top 4 or 5 defenses in the NFL by the end of the year, and you don't want to have to go in there as a backup quarterback and see a whole bunch of weird stuff you've never seen with talent.
He is Tony Romo with the throwback graphics, and I think a little bit more width on the tie this week. I can't call it from here, Tony, but you're great in any era. We appreciate you stopping by here on HQ.
It was the 70s tie. They gave it to me today, and I was like, we're rolling with it. Let's go.
You look great, pal. Another great game with the A-Team at the NFL on CBS. Here's a look at the largest losses in Bengals history, where this one situates all the way at the top. A 38-point loss as they rolled their backup quarterback in replace of Joe Burrow. The drop-off there going to be obvious, but the want to and the will, the ability to figure out this defensive scheme from Brian Flores just...
We have the Bengals and the Vikings. Battle of the backup quarterbacks. Jake Browning, Carson Wentz. All right, it's all about who will make plays and who will make mistakes. There's a mistake by Jake Browning. We have an intercepted ball by Isaiah Rodgers. You're going to hear his name over and over and over again. He had himself a day. This right here is 87 yards to the house, a pick 6. But my man was not done. Second quarter, less than 2 minutes to go. It is peanut punched out by who? Isaiah Rodgers. He picks it up, scoop and score to the crib by himself. He is the first player in Vikings history with 2 defensive TDs. He had 2 defensive TDs and 2 punch-outs in this game. The Vikings all over the Bengals in this one, 48-10.
Matt Ryan's kids are asking now, can they execute the punch-out in their play?
I don't know if they can do that.
I don't know. Hey, but after the game, it was Tracy Wolfson with Isaiah Rodgers.
Welcome to Minnesota, Isaiah. You surely made your welcome known. I mean, 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 forced fumbles. Did you know that you were the first in the NFL to ever do that?
Yeah, I just found out when they put it on the Jumbotron, but I think one thing that matters, just got to keep going and keep stacking the days.
That's true, but when you're in a zone like that, describe it for us.
Just living in the moment, like these are the type of moments you dream of, and I'm just happy to put on for my city and put on for the little guys like me out there who never thought they could make it this far in life, and just keep going.
Which football do you keep out of all those 4?
I kept the first one. I gave the second one to my defensive back coach DJ, so I told him I was going to bring him the ball back.
Well, a huge win, obviously necessary after the loss. And just a comment on Carson, because we know it was emotional for him playing for his hometown team. Just describe what you think that means for him.
It means a lot. I talked to him all week, and we played together in Indy, and these are the type of moments he built for. So just to see him come out here and have fun and join a team like Minnesota Vikings, and it's all funny games right now. We just enjoying it.
Appreciate it. Enjoy this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I think you said in the pregame, Matt, that in this game right here with Cincinnati and Minnesota's, who can run the football? Right? And Jordan Mason came out today in Minnesota and 16 carries for 120-some yards. So I think Minnesota's ability to run the football takes some of that pressure off Carson Wentz, and he did what he had to do.
Yep.
And certainly, again, I go back to give enough credit to Brian Flores and that defense. Obviously, Isaiah Rodgers has this historic day. So it was a huge, huge win for Minnesota, and they need it. And I think, we're talking about a team that was 1-1, a tough loss they came off to Atlanta on a very short week. It was a big win for Kevin O'Connell.
And Coach, you've talked about this quite a bit as a defensive-minded head coach. You have a backup quarterback coming into the game. You're going to talk to every single part of your team. Special teams, here's what I need from you.
Right.
Offense, running back, step up. Yeah. Receivers, make yourself available. Tight ends, running backs. When you're out in the field and you need your quarterback to give you that dump off, be there for him. Yeah. And then on the defense side of the ball, I've been in those meetings where the defensive coach would come in to the team meeting and specifically talk to our defense and say, listen, we got a backup quarterback in. I'm going to need you guys to make plays. And that's exactly what this Vikings defense did all game long.
Yeah, and you talk about posturing in the NFC North. The Packers go down in a tough loss. We all thought the Packers were the best team in football. They had looked that way the first couple of weeks. They went against a really good Cleveland defense, fell a little bit short there at the end of the game. But for Minnesota, you're back in it.
Yeah.
Right? And I know it's early, but you got to stay on pace with the Detroit Lions, with the Green Bay Packers. And they did that today. I thought Isaiah Rodgers was fantastic, Nate. You looked at it. Former teammate of mine in Indianapolis. I mean, this is tips and overthrows. We say it all the time. You got to get those on the defensive side of the ball. But what do you do when the ball's in your hand? It shows elite speed going down the sideline right here. And Coach, you talked about it last week, the peanut punch. My kids are all over the peanut punch. This is textbook right here. Targets it. And again, what do you do when the ball's in your hand? Taking it back, and then for a third time, let's punch it out one more time. Let somebody else recover it for one time. Unbelievable performance from the defense. But this is what you need. This is what you need throughout the season. You need different phases to step up times. Credit to Minnesota. They did an excellent job with that today.
And what kind of impression? Then you have a big game on Monday night. You got the Detroit Lions taking on the Baltimore Ravens. So you have this whole NFC North, AFC North.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, take them, both of them right now. You're sitting there looking at the Cleveland Browns, and I know they're 1-2, but they have played. I would say they've played 3 games. They played one bad half against Baltimore the second half of that game. They got away from them. But that week 1 and week 3, their performance by their defense. Now they got to get more from their offense.
They got to get more from the offense. But it might be the best defense in the league.
No question.
You can argue that. I want to
are going out there for a field goal, especially the ones that are further back. There's a different trajectory that these kickers have to kick the ball on, right? Yeah. So if you're a defensive special teams coach and you're saying, all right, these kickers are kicking at longer distances, which means it's going to be a little bit lower. We are going to have a chance of what?
Blocking them.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, we're seeing more blocks than we've seen in a long time. It's all about the adjustments in real time. So you have one thing that shows up from week to week, and all these defensive special teams coaches making the adjustment.
And there are 2 different ways. We saw the Eagles, the push, Jordan Davis, just collapsing that right side of it. Will McDonald on the other side goes over the top, which is not easy to do given the current rules. No touching, goes over the top. Hell of a play.
And Denver Broncos last week, they tried to block it.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Penalty.
Leverage call.
Yep.
And they lost the game.
Yeah, and they lost the game.
You got glee all over yourself because you recognize the importance of special teams, right? All right, folks, we're getting set to continue here with the State Farm postgame show, and we're going to do that with Cincinnati, Minnesota, Nate.
That's right. We have Cincinnati and Minnesota. Listen, big win by the Vikings. Showed up big in this one, and defensively, oh, they were incredible. Specifically, one guy. We'll get